this is what God wants us to do. And when the going gets tough, you go back to that little voice and says, okay, just push through. So we went from a comfortable position to an uncomfortable position, but we stuck through it. The miracle, or when you know you've done the right thing. A month before I opened the building, a month before, the contractors told me, okay, this is now going to be ready. It was only me and one guy that helped me with being the house manager. So I got here this morning, I put him down here, a little desk, and I gave him, there's only 68 units, so I thought, let me give him 150, 120 application forms. And half an hour later, he phones me. He says, sir, please bring me more application forms. I said, have you done with that? He says, yes, but I've got people standing 3 city blocks. So they started with that door. They stood right around that corner to 2 city blocks down the line. People were standing trying to get applications because they couldn't believe that for 520 Rand a month, you can rent something that's got 24-hour security, cleaning services, that's clean, that's got water, lifts are working. And so then, suddenly, you stand there and says, yes, we did the right thing.
Through the faith and work of Madula Moho, God transformed a landmark building, restoring hope and dignity to a community. In much the same way, he is refurbishing people, pulling troubled lives out of sinkholes, and so sending out positive ripples to others in need.
The church is important in this community for 2 reasons also. Number one, for its physical presence, the structure itself. In this sense, the church is a house of hospitality. It is a hospital where people can come in. And the presence of the church here it means healing. The presence of the church here means you can come and you can get healed and you can go on.
I remember, like, for me, going to church back then, it was a matter of, I mean, obviously we are hungry, spiritually hungry, stomachically hungry, but for me, that was one of my reasons of going to church, because I know there is going to be a church service. I will be maybe probably sleepy throughout the whole service, because for the main thing was actually to chow. But I think as time went by, because as they preach, as people do testimonials, as we are taught how to pray and everything, it actually kind of like grew, to it actually built up my relationship with God, and also my faith, started to become a bit bigger and stronger. And today, well, I still go to church, not to chow, but to eat spiritually, I can say.
Nathi kodwa njengoba uzawufunda nje funda ucede ne uphathe isandla sakho ngoba mina ngiyamkhala umntana ofundile ngoba mina angifundanga.
So I kind of like, wanted a better future for me, because I knew, like, okay, fine, I'm on the street, but you know what, one day I would like to see myself off the street. Then I realized that education, I think, is the key. Another thing that also inspired me was Mandela, when he inauguration 1994, when he says, "You are powerful beyond your measure." Those words stuck with me. And I realized, what? I think through education, I can be somebody. I can be somewhere. There's one of the restaurants up here in Hillbridge, it's called Sonny's Pub. So one of the guys who was there in the pub, like the gate was closed. It was around 12ish in the night, and I was actually waiting there because they normally around 1 they give us supper or whatever you call it, midnight snack, whatever. So I was waiting for that. So the guy, that's when a 163210 or something like that came out. So the guy was busy flashing it, telling the lady how he's working as a manager, how he can replace it and buy it. And in my mind, have you seen most cartoons? You get those balloons, and then you get that globe, the idea. So I saw the cell phone, I thought about my textbooks, thought about the things, so I grabbed it. And I ran, and they chased me. And I ran, and I ran, and I ran. There's a play where now there's constitutional hill. It wasn't constitutional hill, that's why we slept. We used to call it number 6. I ran there, they chased me. Actually, the funny part is that I'm running away from these people, and I'm running towards the police station. So they're like, yeah, I'm Simusa got the police station. But just next to the police station, there's barracks. Say barracks is a passage over the wall into number 6, and they couldn't go there. It was very dark and kind of like dangerous. In the morning I woke up, I went and sold the phone at the Nigerians, went down to town, I bought the textbooks, and I was back at school. But though, those people actually, after some days, they got hold of me. They gave me a beating, So while they were hitting me, so I told them, but what did you do with the money? You must show us where you did. I told them, but I bought textbooks. So they stopped. Really? Serious? No, you're lying. I said, no, for sure. I am going to school. You can come to, here's my school. This is the things about me. You can come and see me, you know. And there was an uncle there, he's a good jazz person. He plays band chairs. I think what you call it, double bass, the big one. So he came to my school, he came to my school the next day, and he really saw that actually I wasn't lying. I'm actually going to school. And then from then, him and those very same friends of his that hit me, they actually then started to, everything that I needed for school, they started paying it for me. You know, if we went on excursions with the school, I just had to tell Putap, so, and he always says, let me see your reports and everything, and I will show him, you know, how school is okay, and maybe on weekend, once a month on a weekend, you know, we'll go. It was like, you know, when a father and a child will go out, we'll go to the park or go where we wanna go. Anyway, out and anyway, when I go to the movies, sure. So you'll kind of like take me out and do that. Then I finish my matric. Now and then I bump into him, and he just also want to find out what am I doing, what's happening with my life. Yeah. My grades were good at school, you know, and they wanted me to be either go do accounting or go and work for Macintosh, for Mercedes-Benz. And in most cases, I always use an excuse to my solution, you know. And for example, I'll always say to him, but when he wanted me to go and work at Macintosh to go do an apprentice, I'll always say to him, but you know, me and Chris, we don't mix. They're like, okay, then you can do accounting and all this and all this. I said, but imagine me, suit and tie, and I got dreadlocks. You know, I always find a way. And I told him, Mama, I like theater. You know, and he said, no, what, you can work with machines? I said, I can't work with machines. I can work with people, because people got feelings. People can talk, I can understand them. And then at the end, then I like it because he gave me his blessings, you know. He released me very well. Okay, you know what? This is what you want to do? Go. When I finished college, I think I probably lived on the street for a month, you know, because I kind of like, you know, come on, I can't have shelter for a year. Then now again, I must be back, you know, need a better life. So I went to stay at the Ronfontein. I worked there. After 3 months, they still said to me, no, don't worry, you can stay here while you're looking for a job and, you know, get yourself a place. Then I worked for the Lutheran Community Outreach Foundation, and then I was looking for a place to stay, and then I think for a month or two, eventually I found a place. Then I moved out to Toronto, and then since then, that was it, kind of like a shelter. For me, first time I saw Kids Week, you know, I had a passion for them to work with kids, to make them better citizens of tomorrow, you understand, and teach them in different ways. I'm talking about respect, you know, to respect themselves, respect the environment, you know, respect their elders and all those things. And I also learn from them, you know, from the kids, not to say me only teaching them. When it comes to the role to say now, I'm probably playing that role where my parents couldn't really play that role of them parenting me. Maybe not, maybe it will be or it wouldn't be, but for me, the basic thing is just, I like to see them as better citizens. And also the thing is, most of them are coming from different backgrounds, so they kind of like look up to me, and everything that I've learned, everything that I've got, I try by all means to share it to them, you know, teach it to them.
I've known Mandla for more than 10 years. I've had many experiences with Mandla, especially him coming from the street, growing up on the street, going through with all of his emotions and where he is right now. Mandla has had the ability to change his life around. And the key place that he came to was the church. And the church, at the end of the day, equipped him, gave him that skill to transform his life and to move on with his life.
are the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. I will be found by you, declares the Lord, and will bring you back from captivity.
There are times where it comes to me, like especially when I go to Durban, the guys I went to school with, they're driving nice cars, they're blinged up and everything. And I'm like, why didn't I just find somebody to pay for my tuition fees and I go to university, get a degree, diploma, and all those things, also have a big house and drive a car. You know, I question God, cry a bit, you know, but then at the end of the day, I realized probably this is the life I was ought to live. You know, rather, like sometimes I feel like, you know what, living Mandla's life, it's okay. I like waking up, you know, I got a smile, I can't wait. Kids, I'm going to rock those kids. Yeah, so for me, it's like that. There's a time I get, I'm telling you, they run there in an hour or a minute, and he's got 30,000, he's doing this. But then sometimes I'm like, it's just material things. But also I know spiritually, I'm rich.
Mandla has a passion that is burning like a fire inside of him. And that passion is his ability to help other people. But that passion comes from that transforming experience which he had. And his message, which he always have, is, if it can happen to me, then it can also happen to you. If transformation can happen to me, then transformation can always happen to you. And it's that driving force that is driving Mandla. And Mandla has the ability to bring people closer to him, that kind of warmth. And I think I'm correct to say, to equal Mandla to the Jesus character, the Christ character of bringing people closer and making sure when they leave they are healed at the end of the day.
The joy that I find at least is that because I've impacted somebody's life. Not changed somebody's life, but impacted it, and bettered it. There's like 4 young people. After I finished New Nation, after I was done with my matric, I bumped into 4 young people who were also struggling like the way I was struggling. One of them, I took them to a shelter. One of them, I took them to the New Nation school. One of the guys is actually studying now as we speak in Cape Town, you know. So what I did, I helped them. So that gives me a joy. Imagine me seeing him on TV, or maybe I go down to Cape Town, there's he graduating, he's wearing the robe, he's receiving his honors or his certificate. You know, at the end of the day, I can say, that actually makes me proud, you know, it makes me happy.
Just as Mandla grew and began to impact the lives of others in his community, so too has the influence of Madula Moho's work been amplified by partnering with other like-minded landlords and community leaders.
You know, after 6 or 7 years now that we've got 8 buildings, you know, we're kind of making a difference in the community, you know, because, you know, we're providing good, safe accommodation. One of the undoubted successes is our partnership with the Ikaya Precinct.
The Ikaya Precinct, a coalition of property, housing and faith-based organizations, spans across 15 city blocks in Hillbrow. Over 30 buildings have been restored and upgraded, together with the surrounding streets, lanes and recreation parks. Safety patrols have significantly reduced crime, and as ordinary citizens have joined in to rebuild their community, a sense of well-being has spread out, making Ikaya one of the most sought-after neighborhoods in Hillbrow.
What we found when we started housing is that people would live there and they would say that the accommodation is fantastic, but as soon as they walk onto the pavement, they got robbed of their cell phones, ladies got mugged, people would break into cars, and people said this was an unsafe environment to live in, although when they walk into our building, it was a safe environment. So we said, but we have to change the neighborhood if we want to change the way that people live.